Hi, my name is Phil Cutting, and today I'm visiting Carcassonne, a medieval city with walls and defensive construction that goes back 2,000 years to the time of the Romans. Now it's been renovated, it looks absolutely fantastic and is an astonishing place to visit. But of course, these beautiful walls hide a bloodthirsty history. So what you can see behind me here are renovated Roman towers. Now the Romans weren't the first to settle in Carcassonne, but they were the first to leave anything that's lasted the test of time. When the fall of the Roman Empire occurred, the whole area was taken over by the Visigoths, which was a group of nations that gradually spread across southern Europe. And they in turn were replaced by the Franks. And so France wasn't a unified country. It was all different cities that were all warred with each other, all under the control of different warlords. And as the centuries passed, warlords came and warlords fell. Hi. Until the Franks. Now we got to the Franks, didn't we? Yeah, so the Franks eventually reached their peak in the year 800, which was when Charlemagne was crowned king. So Charlemagne was crowned emperor in 800, but only a short few years later, he died. And after that, it was back to the instability of the warlords. So in Britain at this time, Alfred the Great was fighting the Vikings, and Carcassonne came under the control of the Belenid family. And they ruled Carcassonne for 200 years until falling to the Trenquevelle family. Now, while the Trenquevelles were here, William the Conqueror was working in Britain, and he was building castles in Britain, big solid castles as you could be well aware of. But while he was doing that, the Trenquevelles were building this place here. Although what they actually built is inside and relatively small compared to what we see now. It was at this point that one of the most terrible events to occur within Carcassonne took place. It concerns a group of people called the Cathars, who were considered by the Roman Catholic Church to be heretics. Ostensibly Christian, the Cathars did have some very, very strange ideas. And for a long time, the people of the area of the Langedoc were prepared to tolerate them. And the Catholic Church was prepared to tolerate them as well. But after a while, the Pope decided they had to be drawn back into the fold. But of course, the Cathars didn't want to be drawn back into the fold. They didn't want to be involved in all the excesses of the Catholic Church. And so in the end, the Pope decided to start a crusade. And so he encouraged knights and various power groups from the north to come down and basically start a massacre. Everybody in the area were executed, killed. Most terrible, terrible bloodshed. At one point, one soldier was rumoured to have asked, how do I know which ones to kill? The Cathars or Catholic, how can I tell the difference? And his leader said, well, just kill them all. God will know the difference. once the crusade had cleared out all the Cathars, the Pope discovered there were quite a lot of other religions that were working, you know, that were nothing to do with the Catholic Church. And so he instituted the Inquisition. So the Inquisition was designed to bring all the heretics back into the fold. And it was absolutely ruthless. Terrible, terrible torture. But the intriguing thing is that because the Waldenses and these other non-conformist, so-called heretic groups, they recognized that this was more important to them than life itself. They were indeed prepared to sacrifice their entire lives for the sake of worshipping, as they saw, God in exactly the right way. And so it was that the whole of Carcassonne was emptied of people and the area around it. And that meant that the kings of the northern country of France, as it was, were able to come down and absorb this area into France to make it part of the complete French nation. When the French kings took over Carcassonne, they had unlimited funds to build up all of the walls and the battlements. And indeed, when that was finished, with 2 rows now of battlements and walls, the city was pretty much impregnable. But of course, by this time, the threat of attack had begun to recede. The Spanish had signed treaties and they were friends, and there was not the same threat from the Muslim Arabs in the Mediterranean, and so there was really no need for this fortification that was Carcassonne. And over the centuries it began to deteriorate. So what the armies of the Middle Ages were unable to do, time and the weather were able to achieve quite easily. And after the centuries had passed, Carcassonne fell into ruins, and it was decided that they would demolish it. But this caused an uproar. So what happened next is quite interesting, because this uproar from the people of France, as such a fantastic place could be even considered to be demolished, was spearheaded by a guy, the statue of whom is right behind me. So this chap, whose name is unpronounceable, he was a politician, local politician, and somebody really big in the public works department of the nation of France. And he thought it was appalling that such a fantastic place called Carcassonne could be demolished when it had so much heritage going back over thousands of years. And so he started a movement to get the place renovated. And he called upon a man who was just working around the back here at the cathedral. And he was the architect that had just renovated Mont Saint-Michel. We'll go and have a look for him now. The man's name was Eugène Viollet-le-Duc, and he was an impressive architect. Not only had he just worked on Mont Saint-Michel, but he'd also done some renovation work on Notre Dame Cathedral as well. So he was flavour of the month. And so he was invited to come and do some work. In fact, he was already working in the cathedral in Carcassonne. So he was invited to take on the project, and it was massive, it really was. And he spent really the rest of his life renovating the city, doing the designs and overseeing the work. In fact, he died before it was finished. It wasn't finished until 1911. And as you can see, it is a very, very popular tourist destination. And a few decades ago, it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So has a poor history, but what a beautiful, beautiful place to come and visit.